Namaste everyone, very warm welcome to Satsang this morning. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai. I'm happy to see that some from America are there because this special time is meant for America. So it's good. I feel a little bit to cover the basics today because it seems like it's been a while that we haven't done that. Then most of us we come to Satsang first. When we come to Satsang first, mostly what is it that we want? Mostly it is that we want to be rid of our suffering. We feel like so much has happened to us and this life is unstable, my relationships are unstable, I'm not getting a control over my life. So how do I rid myself of suffering? That's the first impulse, first motivation, so to speak, to come to satsang, isn't it? So, and then what we realize very quickly after we come to satsang is that all suffering is personal. Without relying on the idea of myself as a person, I cannot really suffer. So we see that all suffering is personal. How did it come about that we started to believe ourselves to be this person? Is it our natural state to be a person? Is it our originalness to be a person? And then we look and we find that, yes, the appearance of the body is here, but the body is mostly unconcerned, completely unconcerned actually, with state of relationship, state of financial security, with all personal concerns. It is not really the body's concern. Including the health of the body itself, the body is not concerned about it. So who is this one? And how does it come about that how does it come about that we start to believe ourselves to be a person? And we find that it is impossible to do without listening to the lawyer of this person. We have to buy the story that the lawyer is selling, and then we believe ourselves to be this person. Question? No. Okay. So, no, it's okay. This one is which one? It's intimate to us. And ever since we've been children, since we've been two, and we've heard this voice, which is telling us things about seemingly ourselves, but really about this fictional entity, fictional non-entity called the person. And because it has been there for so long, it seems to have some authority and it gets our belief. Now, when we come into satsang and we say, I want to rid myself of this suffering, I'm tired of suffering, then we realize that all suffering, firstly, is personal and nothing else except this voice of the mind is representing this person. Nothing else is representing the separation except this voice. Therefore, to be rid of suffering, what must we do? Not identify with this voice, which means what? Not believe what it is saying or selling. That's why, although it can sound simple, almost trivial, but to not believe our next thought is to experience the freedom, the non-resistive, non-suffering state right now. You cannot suffer without buying your next thought. Even if you believed all your previous thoughts, the fresh moment is so beautiful and powerful that all prior conditioning has dissolved already, unless we pick up the tree of conditioning again by pulling at this branch of the next thought. There's so much power. There's a book called Power of Now. So this is also a power of now. That in this moment you are free. All prior conditioning, even if it is millions of years old, is not here now unless you tug at it. And the seller comes unless you buy from it. It's gone. Isn't that tremendous? It is gone. It is done. And even when we do buy, it's not such a terrible thing because this moment again it is gone. There's no way to lose this game. Conditioning cannot win. Unless you still feel like playing as a conditioned, non-existent entity. And if you still feel like playing that, then nothing can stop you from it. So then what can happen is that we start letting go, dropping our belief in some thoughts. And those which are still seemingly meaningful to us, those we still pick up. And they could be the spiritual ones now, the glorious seeming ones. Those could be picked up. Now the thoughts could also change. It could feel like the mind is now changing and it has become very spiritual actually. It's giving you very scriptural words. The thoughts are much more well dressed. Don't buy them. Because if you buy this one also, it is with the presumption that I have become a very spiritual person or I have become a very special person now because I know this, which is a super glorious thing to know. It is of no value actually. No value actually. Why? Because suppose the thought is, I am that, or I am awareness. Yeah? Then, if it is just a thought and not really a pointer to the real looking or the real checking, If you're saying that I am awareness, I know this, I don't need to check anymore, okay, then it just becomes a concept. And when life comes with its seemingly strong situations, when the mind is blasting about various things and what could happen to you and what your life will become, then you insert one more dichotomy into it. So the mind is saying, you're in big trouble. Then you're saying, I am awareness. You're in big trouble. Or I am awareness. It's worse suffering than even believing the thought you're in big trouble. No, it's true. Like, although it sounds funny, but the thing is, such great dichotomy can happen that your suffering actually seems to intensify when we try to counter one thought with another thought. And this is from my own experience. I remember that when I used to know all of these things, you see, and I felt like I knew everything. And then when suffering came, my business was going down the drain, there were fights at home, all this was happening. None of these concepts were really helping at all, in fact, making it worse. You see, if I am that, then what is it that is feeling the pain? What is suffering? So it was just becoming worse because of this. And ultimately, even that is grace, because that is when the conceptual framework is seen to be completely useless. You see, unless it is only a pointer for our inquiry. So the minute we get into this phase that I know this now and therefore I don't need to look anymore, we must be wary of such proclamations and saying that we have arrived at this level or something like that. So what did we see? We saw that all suffering is personal and the person idea has to be continuously nourished with new fodder, with new thought, with new nourishment of belief in fresh thought. Because we saw that in the right now, all our prior conditioning is gone. We are free. But if we tug at it, if we give our belief to one branch of the tree, then the entire tree seems to be here. The non-existent person seems to be real because the power of belief is our power to pretend. And there can be some questions about what is it that, which thoughts are these that I should drop and which thought should I continue to pick up. And I say that we must not, we don't need to pick up any thought for two reasons. One is that all thoughts, even if they're proclaiming the most glorious truths, are still referring to you as if you are a person, as if you are a separate entity. It cannot fathom the truth of what you are. Therefore, it has to go with the pretend of what you are. So, all thoughts, the premise is the personal I. And the second reason is that even if a sense of needing guidance still remains, you will find that with the dropping of allegiance to our mind, you will find that the intuitive sense becomes more and more seemingly available to you. It was always there, but now that you've dropped allegiance to this energy called the mind, the intuitive presence, the intuitive energy seems to become more in focus. So this, even you will not be left without guidance or without what to do. The seeming identity that still remains will not, even without the guidance, your inner satsang or your outer satsang will still be available to you so that you can throw away what little bit still seems to get your belief in spite of the intent not to believe. So what is important to see here is the sense of not believing our thoughts is not a constricted space. In fact, it is a very open space. Like the great Zen master said, both doors are open. All thoughts are allowed to come and go. Just we are not serving them tea. Now, serving them tea could be interpreted in two ways. The first way is that I'm not going to look at them. Whatever visitors are coming, I'm just going to hide. You see? But in that, there seems to be a lot more effort. See who came. You see, you want to see. You want to peek into what came and what that which we are resisting from seeing. That seems to be become suddenly very attractive for us to see. You see, so the play with attention in this way is not really required. So not serve them tea very effortlessly must mean you just stay where you are, allow them to come and go, don't give them meaning, don't give them belief, don't make them relevant, don't identify. Then we find great openness in the allowing of everything to come and go, and you truly will not be able to say in that moment that I am suffering or something is happening to me. This itself, for those who are coming for this urge of self-discovery, this itself is tremendous. That the seeming burden of suffering can no longer afflict us. In the simple sense of not engaging with the next visitor that comes through the door, not believing our next thought. And I would like to feel that most of you now, having been in satsang for some time, except for momentarily or short periods of time, are not really personally suffering in this way. And yet we find that there is a primal urge to go further into this. The urge for self-discovery mostly does not come to an end with the end of this seeming personal suffering. And where does it usually go next? Traditionally, it has been said that even the greatest of sages, when they first went to their masters, they went with this question: can you show me God? Swami Vivekananda also had this question when he went to his master: can you show me God? For this question to come, because we've had a concept of God, we've had an idea about God, And this urge for self-discovery mostly brings us to this point next, which is, what is God? Can you show me God? Now, God is a word which has many, many definitions. So before we look further into it, let's clarify when we refer to God here, what is the definition that we are following? So when we refer to God in Satsang, we are referring to God as consciousness, which is traditionally how God has been referred to. In various cultures across the world, God has been referred to as this consciousness. It is said in the Bible, I am that I am. So this I amness, this beingness, this consciousness, there, there was a long period of time here where it was completely unclear what it means, this beingness. Often I've said that while reading I am that, but also at the reading experiences that happened here. Because Maharaj would keep saying, stay with the sense I am, stay with the sense I am, just stay with the sense I am. He said, for 3 years, just 3 years, I stayed with the sense I am, and everything was top. You see? And I just couldn't fathom what is this I am. You see? What made it happen? I don't know. At the end of the day, I have to say I don't know, I have to say grace. Because when it became clear what this sense I am was, I was actually sitting in a auto rickshaw, what you guys call tuk tuk, just from here to the office, which is just maybe 500 meters away. Sitting there and just sitting in an auto rickshaw, it was just so clear. Oh, this, it's always been here, this sense of being. It's always been this. This is the sense I am. See? And it was so apparent and obvious that even at that moment when I looked back and said, what was the frustration or confusion? I couldn't fathom it. You see? So I have to say that it was grace. Although there was a lot of looking, what is this I am? What is I am? I did a lot of film style fighting with God, saying, "Why can't you show me what is this I am?" You know, all all this fancy stuff happened. But then, when it just became apparent, there was no, not even inquiry which was happening. It was just, it was just like that. You see? Now, so the feeling when it comes to express from here, it's just the sense that what would have helped that boy inquire a little better if this one had an opportunity to go back in time and speak to that one and help him in some way, what is the way in which I would like to communicate with that one? And my feeling from here is that I would ask that one whether you can stop being now instead of trying to search for being. The inversion of the question I find very useful. But I have no real way of knowing whether even that would have been understood then. But my feeling is that to ask the question in this way, can you stop being now? Would make the inquiry a little more focused, a little more obvious, a little more clear. Instead of saying, can you find your being? That is why I offer this question to you. If you say, can you show me God, consciousness, being, Atma, whatever we call it, then I offer you this question, can you stop being? And you see the sense that I exist, I am, is here. The presence is here. You cannot stop being. You don't need to imagine it. We don't need to make a picture out of it. It is just this sense of existence. I am. It is not the thought I am. It is not the thought I am. It is only the sense I am. The presence I am. I exist. And very naturally, we know this to be true because we say, I went to sleep. I woke up. And it's very natural for us to say, I am feeling this way. I am doing this. I am going there. So this I-ness, this I amness, this beingness is very naturally clear, but for the mind it's completely confusing because the mind itself is a product of this being. Say, my mind is very noisy today. This my is what? My outside environment is very frustrating today. My family is being very troublesome today. My life is not going as well as I would like. My story has been one of so much struggle. I am suffering from this, this, and this. Who is this one? Who is this one that even has the ability to attach stories to itself? Everything that we say after I am is a story. Everything that we believe after I am is a condition. And all the conditioning is just attributes which have been attached to the sense I am. But it is important to see that in actuality, being is just being. Nothing really gets attached to it. It is only a pretend, only a belief. So all the beliefs that we have picked up along the way are pretenses for this pure being or I amness. This is what we are in satsang for. Consciousness coming to the recognition of its source, and consciousness letting go of all conditions that it seemingly attached to itself. Therefore, satsang is not for the person because the person does not even seem to exist apparently. And all conditions apply to only that which seems to be here. And we say, I am here. So to come to this beautiful recognition, I am that I am, is God experiencing God itself, is consciousness experiencing consciousness itself. And all that consciousness needs to do to play as a person, to put on the on switch of playing this personal game, is to say, I am something. Attach any attribute, any thought, any condition to this, and the personal play seemingly begins. And this, for most, is enough actually. It is already the end of suffering and the realization of beingness, of consciousness, Atma, Sakshatkar, as it is called in India. And only some of us will have the true urge to look even further than this, which is to ask, who is aware even of this being? Therefore, the third and final question in satsang usually is, what is the absolute truth? What is awareness, or that which we refer to? Now, the self, like God, is used differently. The Buddhists use the self actually to call the self the false sense of self, which is the ego. So don't get confused with terminology. When we use the word self here, we are referring to the absolute truth. And this question can come, what is the absolute truth? Now, I have suggested two ways to look at this. One proceeds from the previous question, which is, who is aware even of being? Second is, am I aware now? It's a very profound and beautiful inquiry because it is immediately, even before immediately, known that awareness is here. It is known that knowingness is here. And it is known that it does not look like anything, it does not feel like anything, it is not a subject of time and space. It is not subject to time and space. No words can truly describe it. And it is seen that no matter what state is coming or going, this awareness remains unchanged. There is awareness of sleep state, and yet awareness is untouched by sleep state. It is awareness of waking state, and yet awareness is untouched by the waking state. Of dream state, untouched by dream state. All the glorious meditative states like Turiya, Samadhi, all it is aware of, and yet even these it remains untouched by. And it is our experience in a state like sleep that all that was called consciousness and the play of consciousness dissolves back into that which it is ultimately made up of, which is awareness itself, and arises from that which it is made up of, which is awareness itself. Then it is seen that there is nothing outside of this. The knowing of knowingness itself, the awareness of awareness itself, is a recognition. But for who? Did awareness, which is the unchanging one, untouched one, forget itself? Does awareness, the ultimate truths, need to have a recognition of itself to remind itself of the truths? Are any words needed for awareness? Can the content of any waking state, including content like satsang, can it become meaningful to that which is the ultimate truth? Therefore, to this awareness, the content of what is appearing, although all content is made up of its own dynamic aspect called consciousness, the content is completely meaningless. Therefore, for awareness, Whether it is satsang or it's a comedy show, it doesn't really matter. And once we start to have this recognition for ourselves, then the mind starts playing very subtle tricks. The, the con artist also starts bringing its A game now because you're starting to have the recognition of what you are. Then what is the trick? The trick could be, oh yes, now you've seen that you are awareness. So what is the point of satsang? Why do I need to inquire about your awareness? What is the need for inquiry? What is the point of satsang? None of this. And from the point of view of awareness, all this is completely true actually. Nothing is ever really needed and nothing ever happened. Completely true. Then what is it that we are here for? We are here because there is still a sense that I woke up and I went to sleep. So this sense I am is still playing here. Consciousness or God is playing here. And most environments in this play are adding to the conditioning, adding to the belief that consciousness is a person. I am something. I must become a better person. I must become happy. I am unhappy. I am happy. All of this conditioning is getting added in most environments in this apparent realm. But also part of the play are these smaller points of light in which consciousness is coming to the recognition of its source, which is awareness, and consciousness is letting go of all conditions that have been attached to it. All part of the play still, yes. So the seeming teacher in the play is the point of light of unassociated being. Which is opening us up to this same possibility or the same truth actually being clear, being real for ourselves. Therefore, like I say, satsang is not for the person because not even in this phenomenal play does a person really come into existence. And satsang is not for awareness because awareness cannot be bound or free, cannot be deluded or illuminated. Satsang for awareness is as meaningless as any other part of this play. Therefore, satsang is for what? It is for the dynamic aspect of of awareness itself called consciousness, which has been playing as if it is a separate individual entity, and now coming to the recognition that I am made up of this awareness. Therefore, I am awareness itself, and coming to the dissolution of all personal conditioning. So now it has become very popular to negate this consciousness or beingness. We say that it's become very popular to say, let's not even make a distinction between awareness and consciousness, because ultimately all is awareness. But what usually happens, of course, some of you might have this insight that all is awareness and nothing has really happened. And if it's true insight, and if it is that strong an insight that comes along with the dropping of all millions of years of conditioning, then nothing is needed for you. No satsang also needed, nothing at all. Because the play of consciousness will seem like a small grain of sand twittering about, mean nothing at all to you. See, not even that, maybe. Not even a pinprick. This entire play of consciousness. Because in the totality of awareness, in the non-phenomenality of awareness, this phenomenal play is nothing at all. But as long as it is not that, and you must have this integrity to look, is there really no difference for me, the sleep state and the waking state? Is this entire play of consciousness with all its drama of relationships and money and health of the body and freedom, all of this drama is really nothing for me, not even a grain of sand. Then let me say these holy words that nothing has ever really happened. But if this is not our experience with integrity, then don't be so quick to jump to these conclusions, because then they are only mental. Just because the play of consciousness is not apparent, don't be so quick to dismiss it and just go with the concept that there is no consciousness. I know, I have been there. For 3 years, I tried to figure out what this I am was. And I can understand how attractive it must be to say there is no being. Maharaj is wrong. What is the reason to come to this? Bhagwan with the I, all the sages who've talked about being and consciousness and Atma. There was no need for any of this. It can be very compelling to come to these conclusions because there is frustration there at not discovering what is this being. So let me use a concept like I've done in the past to hide my fear. Let me close myself up to the inquiry because I know awareness is all there is. So, what needs to be looked at now? Don't fall into this, my beloved ones, because from experience I'm telling you that it is not the end of suffering. In fact, it is the intensification of suffering to buy into these ideas, because ideas fighting ideas will not lead to the end of suffering, only to the increase in the intensity of it. The sense that I exist is primal to this existence. Even a child says, I woke up and I went to sleep. If animals could speak, they would also say, I woke up and I went to sleep. Even before the mind comes, a child will have the sense that I woke up and I was asleep. You will not be able to report it in words, but the presence or absence of this sense of existence is primal, is primordial. In fact, this I amness, this Om, this consciousness, is the primordial, immaculate conception. And you will see that it is the light on its own screen. It is that which pleases all the actors. And it is my blessing that may there be a time for all of us that this entire phenomenal play will seem like nothing but a tiny grain of sand, even smaller than that. And then may we all be able to say with full integrity that all is awareness and nothing has ever really happened. From here, the concept of believing a thought or not is meaningless. From here and here alone, the concept of satsang, or the sharing of this, is meaningless. From here, this entire play is meaningless. Desire is meaningless. Aversion has no meaning. Freedom is nothing. Bondage does not exist. But if these are still just thoughts, still just ideas, and you know in your heart that there is a lot of belief in the person, and you know for yourself that we are filled to the brim with desire, it is seen that something is not done with the play, then don't be so quick to pick up the ultimate sounding ideas just as ideas. If you must, then use them for your inquiry. Say that if this is the truth, how can I see this for myself? If it is just another thought, I am God or I am awareness, it is not in service to the truth. No thought is in service to the truth unless it is used to remove all other thoughts.
Father, may I come?
Work is started?
Yeah.
You can come, my dear.
Thank you. It was very profound, and I'm glad you did this deep overview. I almost don't have the words, but there's something that hasn't been revealed in the inquiry. It's a very sense of lack, for lack of a better word, lack or deprivation, disappointment. It's so old, ancient. Missing out, being left out, all that. And when I do the inquiry on who is feeling all that, it's like television noise. I don't get an answer at all. So I wanted to offer it up. And some very core, deep fear of something bad's going to happen. Something really bad's going to happen, and I have to protect myself. It's very old. How do you work with that? How do you apply the inquiry to those old, ancient feelings?
This is very good. We can look at this. So from what I understood from your question, it is that something which is very old, like the sense of lack, the sense of missing out, the sense of not getting it,
Mm-hmm.
the sense of isolation in a sense of being left out from
Yes.
what is happening.
Yes, and the feeling of loneliness, this incredible loneliness that, oh my, it just takes over, where there can be this wonderful experience with other people or one other person or myself, and then it goes away, and suddenly there's this overwhelming loneliness that takes over. It's very ancient.
Being isolated and lonely,
Yes.
and you say that it is very old.
Yes.
So what does it mean actually when we say it is very means that it has been here. It has been here for a long time. Now, what has been here? Let's look at what is happening. We already said that in the coming to Satsang, all that has been kept here is being thrown out now, thrown out. And sometimes it is accompanied by great feelings of bliss, joy, space, love, all of
Mm-hmm.
these. And
Yes.
sometimes these old fears, old energetic patterns accompanied by these thoughts which seem like they're here for many, many years. We can't even say when these thoughts have started here.
Yes.
So all of this, in the light of your own looking, in the light of your own inquiry, is getting released now. And when it is getting released, it has to play out through this field of expression. You see,
Oh,
it has to be played out through this. It has to be seen through. Now, what can happen is that when energetically this old stuff is being thrown away, the mind tries to keep it back. It doesn't want to throw away, so it comes in and says, "Oh, this is still here. Actually, this is a trick." Is it? As it is being released, the mind comes and says, "Oh, this is still here." No,
yeah.
actually, it is going. You see, the mind, if we believe it, then it seems to again attach this belief that this fear is still here. You see, and we keep it back in our basket. Oh, it's still here.
Uh,
Mhm.
yes.
Like this, I know that it can seem like very strong fears are coming as we are ridding ourselves from past conditioning. You know what happened is that we have these fears and then we used our mind itself to repress these fears. So that also was conditioning. Mhm. So when that repressive conditioning got released, then that which it was repressing also is bound to show up again. But the showing up of it is now the simple allowing of it to go. You see? But if we believe something about this, then we still hold on to it in a way. I'm speaking a little figuratively now, but actually in the simple openness to allow everything to come and go, even that which seems deeply uncomfortable, especially that actually which seems deeply uncomfortable, must be allowed to get released. So these fears like isolation, loneliness, sometimes you have the fear of, sometimes for some of you, you might even experience like the fear of death. Sometimes you experience like you are dying now. You see, all of this must also be allowed to go through, must be allowed to be released. You see, and you find that with this, actually, like my master says, and he also says it's not a very elegant example, but he says nobody likes it while they are vomiting, while it is being released. It feels terrible, the feeling of just vomiting,
Yes,
but
it is.
better after that. You see, when the garbage is out of your system, it feels better. So
Yeah.
while coming out, then sometimes what the mind tries to do is hold it back in because we don't want to feel this discomfort. You see, and
Hmm.
we try to push it back in with some medicine or something. So we try to push it back with some outside medication, just like the mind giving you a small idea about this old conditioning, which actually is its attempt to just hold it back. Because even on these ideas about ourselves, on these fears of being alone or isolated or dying, whatever the fear might be, the sense of identity strongly relies on these energetic patterns because we are in a very open state of buying ideas when the fears of vulnerability are coming. When the sense of vulnerability is coming, we are quick to buy ideas. So the mind doesn't want to get rid of all of these energetically stored patterns. You see? But it is bound to happen. And actually, for me, it is a good sign that it is happening. That means that your inquiry is not just mental.
Mm.
It means you are
Ah.
actually shining you're actually shining your light on this. You're shining your light in all the places. You're not afraid to look. And when you're looking, something is pushing out this old stuff, trying to scare you back into not
It's
looking.
oh, it's
And for many, you might turn back from this because the mind will come and say, but this is not what I came to satsang for. I came here to
right.
feel good. I came here to feel good. I didn't come here to feel these feelings. But I have never said that satsang is here to make you feel good, actually. I have only said that here there is a mirror in which you can check what you truly are. And when you check in this mirror, that which is false will be released. All these prior conditioning will start to come out. And sometimes it can seem very strong. You see? And just half jokingly, I'm saying sometimes then in those times it's better if you're physically here because then at least, I can hold your hand and tell you I'm
Mm.
with you through all of this.
Wah! I want to get. I want to get on a plane and come. Wah!
And if life makes that space for you, you must come. If life makes that space for you, you must come. But if it
Thank
is
you.
not there, then this hangout is my version of holding your hand. We are together
Thank you.
here now.
Yeah, I have to be here right at the minute, right this minute. I mean, right today. I have to be here today and for the rest of the week. I have, yeah, and just you talking is making me so nervous, so anxious. I mean, I can barely sit still right now.
Yes, even this phone or whatever device you're using is shaking.
I'm using. I know it's my tablet. For some reason, my laptop wasn't working today, so I'm holding my tablet in my hand,
Yeah, it's okay.
and I'm trying to be still, but even as you're talking, I was getting more afraid.
Yes, yes. Because all of this release will happen. And just like that vomiting example, we must allow it to be released. And I can tell you from direct experience that you will feel a sense of spaciousness and openness and feeling better once all of this is gone. You see,
Yeah.
once all of this is allowed to come out. Don't make any conclusions that this must be the end of it or anything like that.
Hmm.
Just nobody knows anything about how much is there or how much is not there. Nobody knows which step you're walking.
Father,
I heard some water in the background.
sorry to interrupt. Could you move your mic a little closer?
Yes, my dear, yes.
Yeah, there's only a few of us, but we can't hear very well. Thank you.
Let's see if this is better.
Yeah, it's good.
Much
It's
better.
really,
Thank you.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
good.
great.
I
It's
remember
really
to
good.
keep it.
So, what
So
would be a good attitude to take during this time? I mean,
yes,
because this is going on, and it's so uncomfortable, and I think I'm disappointed. There's this layer of disappointment that it's that I feel so unpleasant.
yes, yes. I understand this completely, and I feel also it's a good question. What should be my attitude when this is going on? I would say just be as open as possible.
Okay.
As open as possible.
Okay.
What does this mean? As allowing as possible.
I like that word. I do like the word allowing.
Yes, yes, yes. As non-resistive as possible. There is no 100%, and nobody is expecting 100% of anything. Just as much as possible, as much as natural. And in this, you will see that very soon this too shall pass. Nothing that comes can stay. All phenomena is coming and going. Although when it is happening, it feels like how much of this stuff is there? It just doesn't.
Yeah.
You see, it's like when you have a bad cold, you're wondering where is this stuff coming from? It just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Just like that when this is there. But soon the cold gets over. You see? Soon the cold gets over, no matter how bad the cold was. So this is the beauty of phenomena, that no phenomena is eternal. This too shall pass. And as we remain open to this, in the allowing of this to pass through us, you find that so much more spaciousness, so much more just ease. I feel you use the word ease, which I really like.
Yeah, I did.
Ease will come as you allow all of this to go. And you will not, it will come to a point where so much of this is gone that you'll start finding it very difficult to make any story about what happened to you. It'll just be so quiet with its moments of doom, doom, doom noise, but then going back
Yes.
to quietness. And then you'll find that the seemingly noisy states don't last as long as they used to. They become smaller and smaller. This is the simple medicine of openness or allowing. On the other hand, if we buy a lot of concepts now, then we have fallen back into the mind trap, which is to add new conditioning on top of that which is old. That is why it is said that be in satsang as often as possible. You see, because we've triggered something which is a cleanup.
Yeah.
We've already triggered the cleanup. Now the cleanup will happen with a lot of these uncomfortable times. And satsang is a very supportive environment. It's a very open space which allows you also to be a little more reassured and open to allowing everything to happen.
Hmm.
So,
You know, one thing that's been on my mind is since I've been coming to satsang now, it's about a month. I started, you know, with your silent retreat, and then when you get back, and I've been coming to all your satsangs 3 days a week. I can do the 3 days a week because of the time difference.
yes, yes.
But even this morning, I woke up kind of, for me, in the middle of the sleep.
No, your voice was breaking up
Like,
for the last few seconds. So
again,
if you could repeat the
is
last,
this better?
you woke up early. Yes, yes, yes. You say you woke up early. Is that what it was? No, we've lost you now completely. Yeah.
Father, may I come real fast?
You can come, my dear, and when Lucia comes back, then she can rejoin. But you can come in the
Okay.
meanwhile.
I did want to just say thank you. It's very late here and I'm going to go to sleep. But this
Yeah.
satsang tonight was amazingly profound and I will watch it over and over. The silence was so strong. Thank you, thank you.
So
I
welcome.
love you.
Love you too very much.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste, my
Take
love.
care. Take care, everyone.
All love, all blessings, deep sleep.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, there's a question queue. Okay. Yeah, let's go, let's go. The first one in the queue can come.
Father,
Hello, my dear.
hello, Father. Um, so Father, like before coming to the satsang, I was just fighting with my personal thoughts.
Yeah,
I started like then I started like following your pointing, not believing your next thought,
yes,
and that helped a lot because I didn't pick up any thought like as you mentioned, like not any thought, even if it's a happy, even if it's a scary, even if it's anything at all. I didn't feed anything to that. And and before that, like I had read Maharaj like saying like stay in the I am, and as you mentioned, like I was like, what is that I am feeling? What is that? It's not even this. He said like it's a feeling. It's not a mantra, and all that.
right.
So when I started like following that, not believing the next thought, I was just kind of like whatever it is coming up, I was just I was not paying any attention to the thought, like they were coming and going, and silently I felt the I amness in me.
Yes.
Perdón, amor, ¿puedo apagar la luz? ¿Está bien?
Hello, my
Hello?
dear.
I,
Katie wants to come. She can come after Purvi. Purvi is asking a question now, and after that you can come, my dear.
so,
I don't know
so
whether she can
far,
hear us so well, but we can mute her for some time till we finish this interaction, and then she can come.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
It's okay,
sorry.
my
I was talking to my boyfriend. I didn't realize it wasn't muted.
It's fine. It's fine.
so Father, like when I was like doing this, not believing and not picking up any thought, in fact, like whatever the current thought is, I never gave any helping hand to that thought. Like I didn't
Yeah.
allowed it to proceed further.
Yeah.
So in that process, like somehow I felt that I amness. Oh, there is an existence in
Yes.
me which is like observing. Then somehow after some time I started something, it's like a trap, or like all the videos of Rupert's or Adyasanti and everything. Then now the mind, which was fighting with the personal thought, now it's like fighting for this kind of thoughts, like this is
Yes.
true, this is not, this is not. It's like as if I'm trying to join the political party of some group or something, kind of like this is now, this is like, and then it got
There,
unknowing.
there are some political parties, no? The New Advaita Freedom Party. There's traditional Advaita Freedom Party. No, everything is a freedom party, of course. And then there is all the other paths which are also parties. So it can be like that
So,
all
so Father,
of them.
what happened is like, so,
It's
so,
okay. Yeah.
so it happened like I picked up, and then when I was following those guided meditation, I realized I kind of had an experience, but after that, like I forgot what is consciousness, what is awareness, and all this. Then I came to this like, okay, I am here, and all the thoughts and the emotions are floating through me and all that. So if like somehow I got into this trap of mind where I was debating myself and trying to fit into the frame of what they said, and I tried to be like that, and
Exactly.
somehow Father, like today after like lot of frustration, I thought like what is that? Then when I came back, I synced back into the I am. And then I realized that is why Maharaj insisted, like, don't add anything to the I am. Even
Yes.
not like, as you mentioned, like, not like I am awareness or I am consciousness or I am this ocean, these are the waves, or this is the sky, this is the clouds. Even the
Yes.
sound, even though they sound good, but actually it's not helping because it's again picking, I'm trying to fit into the frame actually. Um, So Father, like at the end again, I started like where to start, like not believing the thought. Where should I start? But I should go back the back where I was not following anything. How should I start it? Where should I start it? It kept on going for like hours together.
Yes.
Then I found just before coming to the satsang, I realized like the voice which was saying is like where to start, how to start, when to start. I thought like this is where I should start now. I should not help it further going like going this kind of thing.
Yes.
Because, because Father
Very
even
good.
because Father even honestly I would say I know the spilling of consciousness, but I don't know what is that. I
Yeah.
know what is the awareness. I have heard it, but I honestly I don't know that. But if I layman language, I would say yeah, I am here and I can see these are coming. Before that, before the satsang, joining the satsang, I used to think they are me, and like I am the packet of them. But now I see like if I don't pay attention, they just go away, and then another one comes, and I say like I don't want, I don't care. Then that goes. So that is what it is working. If I go back to
Yeah.
this consciousness, awareness, I am everything, and then the stages of realization, oh my God, it just makes me like I have to take some test exam to pass and to clear and to go into those states. Then I would never actually, I can never become like that.
It's very good
And
actually. Every time whenever I hear you speak, I just feel like I'm talking to Ananta from even before Ananta. I just feel like if I came to Satsang a few years ago, this is how I would be sharing. And I enjoy very much what you share because it comes from a place of very deep integrity, you see. Because you see that, yes, these words, they sound good. And even in Satsang, it's awareness and consciousness, it feels like something says, this is so beautiful. But
Mhm,
ultimately, even this confuses me. This is exactly what I would have said actually a few years ago. You see?
yes.
So I like very much and also what we said earlier in Satsang today. Don't attach anything to I am. Not even the glorious, most spiritual, best sounding terms.
Mhm, mhm,
You see? Don't attach anything because it is not in the attaching of concepts.
mhm,
It is not in the concept I am free that freedom will be found of
yes.
everything
Mhm,
that you will find this unassociated being. You see?
mhm,
So it is not a outward journey that way to pick up more and more and more glorious ideas, but it is in the dropping of these ideas. And it is the dropping. I also posted another quote from Maharaj the other day that as we are dropping all concepts, it is often experienced that some fear is here, you see, but we must continue, we must stay with that. Just because some fear comes, then we become in a rush to pick up some glorious concept and say, now I found the master concept. But there is
mhm,
no such anything, any term that we are believing about I amness. I am whatever we might be believing. Actually is not it.
mhm,
It is prior to that. You see? So it is not in this way.
mhm,
Like I say, the I am is a portal which goes both ways. Even the most glorious concept that the truth will be found. Whatever we might say, I am awareness, I am God, I am consciousness, I am free. None of these are useful or valuable. I am that. Concept. So when we go in this way to I am, saying let me add
mhm,
something to I am with my belief, that is the
mhm,
only way, by the way, to add something to I am. You see, to presumably add something to I am is only with our belief. You see, so I am whatever cannot be added without believing that I am that whatever.
mhm,
Now, there's a portal which is both ways. So what does this mean? It means that the sense of being is here. The sense that I am is here. I cannot stop being. And yet, I can see that there's a time where even I amness is not there. Yet I know that I am asleep or I was asleep, we are able to report. And I know that I woke up. Therefore, the I amness, the sense I exist, woke up. So, the sense of existence, amness also, is something ultimate for me. And that is the walking through this portal to the truth of what we are. That this I which remains, I am not. You see? And how is this portal to be walked through? Just in the simplicity and the openness of not attaching anything to I am. You will find automatically, naturally, the insight of this truth will reveal itself. And if there's an urge to inquire into this, then I've given you the tools, which is Am I aware now? But we don't even have to work
We missed that last part, Father. Can you repeat? You were frozen.
Yes.
Oh, what did I say, La? Nobody here listens, anyways. I just said that the simplest, most natural way, if we can call it a way, is not to attach any attributes to this I amness. And the truth of what am is and what I is will reveal itself most naturally. As long as we are not distracting ourselves with attributes to I am, then it is not possible that am and I, the insight about what they are, what you are, is not revealed to you. You see? So just itself, because the truth is already here. And yet, if there's an urge to inquire, then we can use, am I aware now? Or we can use, of course, we can use Bhagwan's inquiry, who am I? And all that has to be revealed will reveal itself. If you stay with this openness and integrity actually, and don't get caught up in any fancy ideas, then I feel that there is no way that the truth will not reveal itself.
Yes, Father. So once you mentioned I have heard from you, and also from Muji that Papaji once said he has to be vigilant till the last breath.
Yes,
Like even that means like he knows that mind is a trickster or mind is can throw anything. So even the saints also say that even though they know like everything is conscious Brahma, but still then they have to since it's a I don't know like they have to still. So that gave me hope. Okay, so everybody has to be with that believing, not believing their mind or thought, anything.
yes. This is very important. And let me explain vigilance to you in some detail, because
Yes.
vigilance can be also a confusing term.
Hmm.
Vigilance to the mind is a fearful state. You see, which means like I must constantly be on the lookout. Who's coming to attack me? I'm vigilant. I'm like the guard at night time, with my binoculars in my bunker, constantly vigilant. Is the enemy attacking me? You see, but that is a very constricted state. That is not the vigilance that we are talking about. You see, so it is not this fearful, am I going to be attacked by the mind? Oh, not like that. Huh? It is just when something pinches somewhere, if some feeling of hurt or something is arising, some pain is arising, not to wish it away using some Advaita concept, like I am awareness itself or something, but to look at it and to see in those situations what is it that I ended up believing, especially for those who, through the Sadguru's grace, have been put into positions of sharing the Sadguru's voice. Especially for those, it's very important to be vigilant in this way, because it is very easy to buy into the idea that there is something special about Ananta. You see? So this, when life gives us opportunities to look, when somebody comes and says, but this is not right, or this is something, then we must not push those away and say, no, I know best. You see, we must be vigilant then to check whether this is pointing to something which is being held on to here, is some arrogance or specialness getting created here. You see, and life will always show us, will always show us. You see, so that is why since the starting of sharing began here, there has always been this prayer that if there's any arrogance here, may it be slapped out of me. You see, and this is a prayer of vigilance actually. This is a prayer of openness to accept the whack and not to be in Advaita denial of anything. You see? Because the fact is that the recognition is that nothing ever happened to awareness. And yet, when the whack comes, it does feel like a whack. And therefore, we must be open to inquiring and saying, what is it, I amness here, that when it got chopped or when it's getting attacked, seems to cause some hurt. You see? And it is not so much a concern about momentary emotions which are coming and going. But if there's a sense of resentment, if there's a sense of guilt, if there's a sense of aversion, then those we must not just hide away. We must bring them into our light and look at them. And this applies whether you're sharing satsang or not, as long as you're in this realm, appearing in this realm, then this applies to all of us. Because nobody is 100% free from conditioning in this realm. Even the avatars, even the greatest ones, even the greatest masters who have come and gone, have had this conditioning, this tiny conditioning which still remain grounded, which keeps them, allows them to relate to the questioner, doesn't make them arrogant and special. So this is what I mean by vigilance, which is just this openness when something seemingly gets attacked, to be able to look at it objectively in our own light and say, I'm open to life showing me if there is some arrogance here or some specialness here. And this does not end. And also, someone says that I don't need to look anymore, or I know everything there is to know. You see, these both are not true. Insights will continue, fresh ways of seeing, even that which seems so obvious now, fresh ways of expressing that which seems so obvious now will happen. You see, and this openness is the key for all of this. So vigilance continues and new insights they continue. Realm is appearing. I feel that both of these will continue.
Yes. Thank you, Father. And then the and the last thing like you mentioned is um, I should not be jumping to the conclusions too early. Like should not make any conclusions. Should we because kind of like I'm sticking to that, making the conclusions to like okay, I got it. Now I have to do this. Now okay, this one I got it. The next one. This
Yes,
is all the conclusions I get drive to that.
exactly. I
Thank you.
enjoy this very good because never make a conclusion after this. You'll see that you never have to make a conclusion, including this one.
Because
You
if I
see?
make a conclusion, then I have to keep on keep it with me, add that
Yes,
to my I amness and keep on feeding it to grow, to make it grow and all that, like to make survive it.
yes. So what will happen is
Okay.
that in this openness, all that needs to express itself, all that needs to be said will also there will be no clinging on to even the words that come out from this mouth. So we need to make no conclusions, and never we need to speak from some place of conclusion, because conclusion means what? Concept. And concept means what? A belief that I have picked up. You see? And we were just saying that as long as this play continues in this realm, there will be some beliefs picked up. This recognition that I picked up this belief, then we must look into it and drop it. If it is not finger snap droppable, then we can inquire into it and say who believes this? Who sees this to be the truth? And in this inquiry, in the light of this inquiry, no conclusion, no concept can really survive. We must be open to being wrong. You see? It can seem like a very vulnerable state. Like be open to being wrong. So then we know that we are not making any conclusion. So whatever conclusion we have made also, they might remain there subtly. Just notice what is it that you don't want to be wrong about and throw that away. Because that is a concept. And this beautiful inquiry, it continues till the dying breaths. To be vigilant means like this, to check what is it even here now which I don't want to be wrong about. And that if it exposes something that must be looked at and allowed to be released. But not with Adams, you said something very beautiful yesterday. He said that Alan Watts said that there is a difference between sincerity. You see, there's a difference between seriousness and sincerity. So this vigilance must be completely sincere, but doesn't have to be all serious. You see, it can be like a game, which is very sincerely seen, not be, oh, I'm seriously being vigilant now, concept now. You see, because in that seriousness, there can be a lot of guilt, remorse, regret, all this nonsense, and yet full of joy.
Thank you, Father. I know, like, if time permits, I would talk for with you for hours together, but I know there is a queue behind me. Thank you, Father. Namaste, Father.
Thank you. Want to come also? Come.
Father, I'm sorry I lost connection earlier.
No worries, my dear. No worries.
Okay. And for some reason I can't come back. The video is not working. Anyway, I'm back. Thank you.
Namaste, Father.
Just unmute Lucia, sorry.
Who's who's up? Is it Gurujyoti who's speaking, or Lucia who's speaking, or
It's Lucia. And then
Lucia first? Okay.
Guru after Lucia.
Okay, my dear. Lucia, you're still on mute, my dear. Can you hear?
Okay, how about that? Is that better?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay. You were saying before I lost connectivity
yes,
that it's good to come to satsang, and I've been coming now for a month, 3 times a week at least,
yes,
and I'm finding that it seems to be affecting the rest of my life in terms of my schedule.
yes.
I can't seem to be getting the same amount of sleep as I was, and one friend already suggested that maybe I need to create a new structure for my life to include all this. So I'm wondering, how do people deal with all this new energy that's released?
Yes, yes. Mhm. I feel it's better if someone else speaks and answer for this.
Wonderful.
You want to say? You want to say? Or give it to Amba maybe. She says, "Oh, energy." You know what she means. No? There can be this
Yeah, I know
sense
what
of
you mean.
Hi, Amba. For some reason, my picture isn't showing. Oh, there I am. No. Anyway. Hello.
I really don't know what to say.
So her question is like when you start coming to satsang, then there can be some feeling that the structure of my life and the way I have planned it has to change in some ways. So should I do it? How do you deal with this kind of stuff?
I feel like everything will just change and you might actually in all of life everything is changing all the time. So like it's just maybe a time of change. But I feel like we can handle everything like that time says. Like to just be here now and just be whatever with whatever is here in this moment. You can integrate like all the energies and you have to do anything because it just happen naturally by itself. So you don't need to solve. It's like an answer or not, but that's what I feel.
Thank you.
Like a good answer. Or does it feel like you still have the same person?
It does feel like everything is changing, and life is really different than it was even a month ago. And it's okay. It's just really different.
She can play first and then
Wants to say something.
yeah. Go on.
Just something small about the sleep.
Yeah.
So I've been in India now since mid-February,
Yeah.
and even before that, I haven't been sleeping well. And it used to be a big issue. Like the mind would make it,
Yeah.
how would I get by the next
Yes.
day? I have an important day. I have a lot of work.
Yep.
And the other day, I was had another sleepless kind of night, and I opened up Rajashanti's exactly the page I was about to read. He was saying, I get these questions a lot from people saying, I haven't been sleeping well for years. Is that really a problem? I mean, has anything really affected your life
Yes.
beyond that concept in your mind that it's a problem? Because a lot of energy is released in satsang, and sometimes it takes into effect of insomnia.
Yes.
So it dropped a lot of things just reading that and confirming, yeah, that's been my experience. It's
Yes.
been my mind keep saying it's a problem, it's a problem, it's a problem. actually it's not a problem in the day-to-day. I'm not tired during
The
the
only
day.
problem is that one.
Yeah.
The mind saying it's
Exactly.
a problem.
That's the problem, is the mind complaining and worrying about not getting enough sleep. Yes, that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, you also have, because you have work and things. So how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, like I had this aspect also, and I could completely understand that it's not only the mind that is commenting, but actually you can feel it, the discomfort.
Yes.
Like when you start the inquiry, like when you declare this war that now
Yes.
I want to know who I am,
Yes.
then like a storm of change
Yeah.
comes, and everything like starts to change. So for example, I come to work, sorry, I go to work,
Right.
then I come to satsang, and there is a huge difference between the energy which is present in the satsang
Yes. Yes.
and then in the environment of the work where you have to do something, where you have to respond to various kind of calls. And sometimes these alterations in the energies were used to so high, so intense that like you could feel like one moment you are in heaven and one moment you are in hell. And it was literally like that sometimes the energy like is in such a fluctuating state that you feel the intense pain
Yes.
in the same way you feel the intense bliss.
Yes.
And sometimes I try to talk with Anantaji, but I realized that generally in this connection to the energy things. So what happened that I will just share a very strong story,
Okay.
very small story. So
Yes.
it happened that uh, there was one other master that I used to go before
Yes.
coming,
Yes.
before meeting
Yes.
Mujiji.
Yes.
It was Mother Nirmala Devi.
Yes.
So it happened that there was a meditation center
Meditation
very,
center.
very near
Yes.
to my house.
Yes.
So I just went there one day, and they are supposed to be the expert of like
Energy.
these energies
Yes.
and all, like they are expert in chakras and
Yes.
kundalini, everything.
Yes.
So I just went to them, and I kind of like enjoyed the presence there very much. But then after that, I presented this question that
Yes.
I am feeling these intense fluctuation in the energy, and sometimes I feel that I can't bear it, these changes which is happening. And they have like this kind of way to see it or to measure it. So
Oh.
they, yeah, they do. And
Yes.
so they simply put me this question that are you going to some satsang or some master?
Yes.
And I said yes.
Yes. Stop.
So yeah. So he said this that is because of that. And in a way, I knew it already that it is
In fact, I remember in your case when we were in Thiru for the first retreat, and we were just session with, and we were just hugging everyone, and something just strongly, some bliss or something came for him. He can only tell us what it was, but it was like he was just, body didn't want to move at all, so he became just, and some crying was happening. I don't know, I don't remember what
body
all
was kind of in a paralyzed state or
body
something.
was paralyzed on the state. So, and then Garima is coming to me and says, do something, do something. I'm like, good. And then she was going to everyone. She went to Amba and said, why don't you go help him? Amba told her, why don't you go and help him? And Garima is like, so, so like this, like that. But I knew it is all auspiciousness. And sometimes these energy fluctuations, these states of bliss can come. Sometimes out of body experiences can come. You see, it's all okay. It's all okay. In fact, things have become much milder now. I
Can
was
I
telling,
continue? Can I continue, Aditya?
I'll tell you a story and then you can tell me. But uh, in fact, I remember when I was sharing with Guruji also this time the story that when I first went to Tiruvannamalai in 2009, And my first few satsangs, after satsang, it would just feel like if the body is out, it's just lying around. So it was just lying around over there in the satsang hall. It was just feeling like this is just nothing. It's an inert object. It would just feel like that. And then there was this French lady who was in charge of the hall cleanup. You know, so she wanted to do her job really well. Like the hall has to be spick and span. So although everyone else in Satsang Seva team would say you can keep sitting in Satsang hall and just marinate in this after Satsang is over, inevitably within 10 minutes or 15 minutes it would feel like that. I don't know actually how long it was, to be fair. She would just come, and then after 15 minutes, come on, get up now, Satsang is over, come, go. And suddenly you would feel like that. So when this time some in the team were sharing about how to deal with these kind of experiences when they come and things like this, and it was suggested very gently and very give it time and allow everything to happen and things. I was reminded of those times where all this was never even looked at. It's just now get up, it's time to go. Like that. You say what you were saying?
So I was saying that this struggle between the intense fluctuation in the energies were happening, and especially after coming from Rishikesh
Yeah,
and like Muji, that
of
like
course.
huge. So after coming like this intense fluctuation, and I was struggling, and then suddenly when this incident happened, that I went to this meditation center, and they said that it is because you are going to the satsang,
Satsang.
and if you want to stop this, so you have to stop going to satsang.
Yeah,
So I already knew it, but when he said this,
yeah,
then it kind of triggered something.
yeah,
And in that moment, I said, like in my heart, like it was said that if it is whatever pain or whatever this fluctuation that I'm feeling, if it is happening or being triggered because of the presence, because of this divine presence of my master, then let it do whatever it want to do. Let it do whatever it can to do. It can do. I don't care at all. And it was like kind of fierceness that because I knew in my heart that it is auspiciousness, no matter however it may appear,
yes,
in whatever form it may appear. And when I said yes in that moment, that let it do whatever it want to do, I don't care. And then I went to job with complete openness. Let me feel
yeah,
in complete, in its completeness, in its entirety. Let
yes.
whatever pain arise,
Very good.
I will feel
Very
it
good.
in its entirety, its
Very
complete,
good.
in its completeness. And after this acceptance, just like in 1 day or 2 day,
It passes.
is it okay to share
Yes, yes,
experience?
of course.
So this, I don't know from where it came, this experience, that I could feel a tangible space
Yes,
unmoved,
yes,
and these fluctuations, these pain and bliss seemed to be appearing in it,
yes,
and this space was unmoved. And after that it remained like for a very long time, this tangible space, like no matter whatever the
Father, we can't hear him at all. You're frozen, Father, if you can hear me.
मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भू मा ते सङ्गस्त्वकर्मणि मा ते कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते